Hello out there everyone in YouTube land. Last video I was talking about Transformer cities and I cobbled a city together just to start with this video as a backdrop. Here you have even Shockwave getting into tower mode of sorts, and then of course we have all that other stuff. Now today's video I want to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now I have a few of the sets of the boys, but I'm going to bring out this one set for no particular reason, just because they were on hand. Here we have Leonardo, we have Raphael, we have Michelangelo, and we have Donatello in the back. All right, now to talk about this, why am I mentioning these guys? Well, like most people from my era, I grew up during the Ninja Turtles boom. In fact, when the first black and white run of the cartoon was, not cartoon, excuse me, black and white comic by Eastman and Laird was debuted, I was old enough to go to the comic book store, old enough to look at the cool artwork posters for this, but too young that I couldn't really pick up the comics, if that makes any sense. You see, the first run was not so child-friendly, but it was more teen-friendly. Violence, curse words, not many curse words, not much violence, but enough to say, yeah, it shouldn't be for an 8-year-old, okay? In fact, when the boom happened, just a month before the gigantic Ninja Turtle boom happened, I remember going to the comic book shop and finding the Playmate toy of the brothers, and I was so excited. It's like, oh, I'm just old enough to kind of appreciate this stuff. So I bought Michelangelo. Of course, the boom happened a month or two later, and then for that Christmas, I got the rest of the brothers and the blimp and memories. Right now, I want to talk about the weapons and how the weapons portray the personality of each Turtles. Now, I'm sure this has been talked about before. If not, well, maybe I'm starting something. I don't know. I'm not that big of a recent Ninja Turtle fan, but again, from my generation, we grew up with that. And I do enjoy watching cartoons and reading comic books from time to time, but because I live in Japan, unfortunately, due to various reasons, I can't read as many stories as I would like to read. Now, to start off, I want to talk about Michelangelo. Now, he is the wild, crazy, fun-loving guy of the bunch. And what does he have for weapons? Nunchucks. Have you ever used a nunchuck? They're wild and crazy, but excessively dangerous. I picked them up once, swirled them around just for kicks, and I accidentally chipped a baby's crib at a friend's house. It was, You have to have the utmost control of these things. They're wild and crazy, but they have to have control. And that's something that this guy portrays. He's wild and crazy, but in some of the better iterations, he is kind of in control, which is really weird from a crazy person. Kind of like he's the soul of the group, but he's comedic relief. Next, I want to talk about Donatello. Now, in his early iterations, he was not a super genius. He was just a guy that knew how to do some simple wiring, okay? Of course, they developed his character, so he is now a super genius. I remember like the first time he showed some sort of technical prowess was he hooked up a heating. He repaired a heating. He repaired a heating vent in a farm that they had taken refuge at. What is his weapon? The bow. The least technically created item of the list. A bow, a stick, basically, and he's able to weld it. Do you see that the most intelligent person, the most highly savvy character in the four uses a stick to such a great degree that it has to be mentioned. It has to be mentioned. All right. So we have Michelangelo, the wild man who has a wild weapon. You have a highly intelligent reptile who has the lowest technically advanced weapon, but uses it so incredibly well. Next, I want to talk about Raphael. Now, Raphael, he's mean, he's aggressive, he's in your face. He's Raphael. But what does he have for weapons? Sai. Now, if you don't know anything about Sais, one thing that people who do know something about Sais will tell you, Sais is, well, they are primarily a defensive weapon. They're used to protect yourself. They're defensive. They're defensive, not offensive. He is in your face. He's aggressive. He is very offensive, but he's using a defensive weapon. And he uses it usually very, very well. If that does not talk about his character, I don't know what does. Now, last but not least, we have Leonardo holding 2 katanas. He is always self-doubting himself. He's always trying to control the group. He is always the, well, guy in charge. To a fault. Katanas. Have you talked to anyone who ever used a live katana? You know, anyone who's ever practiced with these bad boys will tell you a slight budge of the wrist will screw your whole blow off to the point that you might destroy your sword. You might totally obliterate your aim as well, which, you know, if you want a clean slice, then you don't want to budge. You have to have an excessive amount of control in your body and your wrist for your swipes. And he uses 2 of these guys. He uses 2 of the weapon you have to have the most focus for, most control. He uses 2. He uses 2. So that's something I've been wanting to talk about for quite a long time. How these characters, well, yeah, you can say they got the comedic result, you have the nerd, you have the aggressive guy, you have the overcompensating leader, but the weapons really say something about who and what they are. And I want to say thank you for watching this video and have a great day. I hope this has given you some food for thought. Take care. Bye.